For a long time, we assumed that the experience of voluntary mental imagery was universal. While most people do experience imagery at moderate levels, a small minority fall into two other categories, either extremely weak or extremely vivid imagery. At one extreme lies aphantasia, which is the inability to voluntarily create mental visual imagery. And at the other end lies hyperphantasia, where mental images can be extremely vivid, sometimes approaching real-life perception. Aphantasia affects roughly 1 to 3% of the population, and hyperphantasia affects between 2 and 5%. The vast majority of people fall somewhere in the middle of the spectrum with what we consider to be normal imagery. If you want to know which group you fall into, there are several simple tests that you can do, and the gold standard used by researchers is the Vividness of Visual Imagery questionnaire. How do we know about these conditions when people's experiences are so subjective? Partly through brain imaging. MRI studies suggest that people with more vivid imagery show stronger functional connectivity between the prefrontal cortex, which is associated with executive control, and the visual cortex, which processes visual information. People with aphantasia may show weaker connectivity between these regions. Aphantasia also runs in families and is associated with a reduction in both memory and facial recognition. Researchers found that when hyperphantasics imagine a bright sun, their pupils actually constrict as if they're looking at real light, while for people with aphantasia, the pupils are unchanged. Some people do report slight improvements through using image streaming techniques. The idea behind image streaming is to describe faint or fleeting visual impressions in rich detail with the aim of strengthening imagery-related processes. And many researchers remain skeptical that it can actually improve aphantasia. Visualization is a powerful tool for survival, so its absence in millions of people suggests that there must be an evolutionary reason for its persistence. One theory is that aphantasia might serve as a protective mechanism against psychological trauma, because people with aphantasia can't re-see a horrific event with photographic clarity. So some early research suggests that they may experience fewer of the vivid visual flashbacks that define things like PTSD. In a violent ancestral environment, the ability to process a traumatic event conceptually without being paralyzed by recurring visual terror would have provided a significant survival advantage, allowing the person to remain functional and alert. So essentially, what this comes down to is different cognitive styles. While someone with hyperphantasia might excel in the art or vivid storytelling, people with aphantasia may instead rely more on abstract or non-visual strategies in tasks like problem solving. The theory is that the brain is less cluttered and enables them to focus on those things more clearly. So seen this way, aphantasia is not a drawback. And it makes sense that there's more than one way to experience and interpret the world because, again, evolution tends to favor diversity. Our business called Startorialist very kindly sent me this dress and a discount code for you to use. You get 10% off by using the code Xeon10. Images of Jupiter that were taken by the Hubble Space Telescope, and they have loads of nerdy clothing and jewelry, so have fun, keep asking questions, and never stop learning.